strength and finesse, backyard brawl, Pitt, West Virginia. Doesn't get a lot better than this in the Big East.
How about from your perspective, Phil?
Two very good teams. Krauser, a great leader, very physical team. And then you got the finesse of West Virginia, all the zones, the great offensive system of John Beilein.
And can we say Pittsnoggle one time? I just like the way it sounds.
Just like to say it.
Yeah, Pittsnoggle.
Well, the new Pittsnoggle baby gives you a reason.
That's right. Happy congratulations to the Pittsnoggles.
Yes.
I got to say.
That's like a toast. Congratulations to the Pittsnoggle. There's Mike Gansey. The St. Bonaventure transfer has found a home in West Virginia. Mountaineers and Pittsburgh coming up next. Again, we're going to get you back out to West Virginia and Pittsburgh in a matter of moments. West Virginia still the only undefeated team in Big East Conference play. It's kind of funny to see that, Fran, because they're a 6th or 7th in the Big East in the RPI, yet first in the standings. Where do you think this team realistically fits in?
Well, they're not the same team they were a year ago. They lost Dior Fisher and Tyrone Sally, but I'm going to be interested to see if they can run that finesse offense that John Beilein has created versus a physical Pitt team that will try to disrupt their cuts tonight. So it's really a battle, as I said earlier, finesse versus strength. Interesting to see how it turns out.
All right, again, we will get you out to the game in just a moment. Pittsburgh and West Virginia. The Panthers undefeated at home. The Mountaineers undefeated in the conference. So as we like to say, something's got to give. Let's get you out to Pittsburgh. We will see you again at halftime for the UPS Halftime Report. Enjoy the game.
Here in Pittsburgh, PA, it has been some kind of party the last few days as locals have celebrated the Steelers' 5th Super Bowl victory. But now, with that a few days in the rearview mirror, they turn their attention to Pitt Panther basketball. A huge game here at the Pitt tonight as the Panthers take on their arch rivals from West Virginia.
Rivalries, the driving force in sports, the source of timeless classics, spanning generations, defining their time, and within, the games evolve. New chapters are written, new heroes emerge, but the lines never change. It's Rivalry Week 2006.
This is big. This is it.
Pulls back, guns it up. Hey! Pittsburgh escapes with a victory.
Will it be Holmes? He'll throw it up. Greer! They win it!
Oh, goodness.
Whose side are you on?
There is no doubt which side the folks here in Pittsburgh are on tonight. This is a serious rivalry between the Panthers and the Mountaineers. A sellout here at the Peterson Event Center. Throwdown Thursday presented by IBM, all a part of Rivalry Week presented by Cisco Systems. Two teams having great seasons. The West Virginia Mountaineers are unbeaten at the turn right now in the Big East play, 8-0. And the Panthers not too shabby themselves, 6-3 in the league, 17-3 overall on the season. Hi, everybody. Dan Shulman and Dick Vitale with you. This is a big-time game. These folks are fired up about it. West Virginia off their Elite 8 performance last year, getting it done again with the likes of Pittsnoggle and Mike Gansey.
Well, you talk about Pittsburgh, you talk about certainly a team that's physical. But you talk about West Virginia, you go inside, outside. Mr. Gansey's a do-it-all player. He's an outstanding wing player. Pittsnoggle is improved on the inside, but his game is shooting the three. They are a great combination who knows how to win. Remember, they lost 2 times in a row, Pittsburgh to West Virginia. West Virginia made 24 threes in those 2 games.
Now, the Panthers, they were thought maybe not to be in a rebuilding mode, but maybe not as much of a contender as they've been this year. How are they getting it done?
Well, they're getting it done certainly very physical. They got great camaraderie. And also, Mr. Krauser came back, and that was a big plus. And Aaron Gray is the most improved player in the nation. The big fella is a double-double guy. He has 12 games that he's had a double-double in.
Let's take a look at our Star Watcher. We're going to focus on the 2 centers. Kevin Pittsnoggle really had a breakout game against Pittsburgh last year down in Morgantown. Followed it up with another great game here. 49 points in all and 2 West Virginia wins over Pittsburgh. And you talked about Aaron Gray, Dick. He has gone from being a role player to becoming one of the best big men in the Big East.
Yeah, he really is. He's consistently a double-double guy in Big East action, averaging better than 16 points a game and 11 rebounds. What an atmosphere. The Oakland Zoo has been on fire. Trust me, I know they gave me an unbelievable. I mean, they had a blast with those kids.
I'll tell you about unbelievable. They've been playing basketball against one another for 100 years. This is the first time ever that both teams have been ranked coming into a meeting.
I'm mad at you.
What did I do?
You didn't save me with all those kids jumping all over me, man. You were supposed to protect me. Brad Nessler would protect me.
Every man for himself.
Hey, welcome having you back. I know you had that surgery.
Thank you.
It's great. You look great. Happy 39 as well.
Thank you. Boy, you're all over it.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh in white, West Virginia in blue. Just about an hour's drive separating these two schools up and down Highway 79. And this is one of those games each school uses as a barometer for how their season went.
There's that 1-3-1 zone. John Beilein plays.
And the best shooter, perhaps, that Pittsburgh has, Ronald Ramon, buries the three.
And Ramon's been handling the ball a lot more. He's the guy that's taken the ball away from Krauser. Krauser's basically moved over to the second guard slot.
Pittsburgh's a man-to-man team, and they're going to stay in that, especially against West Virginia. You can't play zone against them. All 5 guys on the floor will take the three. Here's Mike Gansey. A little bit long, and Gray taps the rebound to Krauser.
Well, you know one thing, West Virginia is not a rebounding team. Great ball movement.
Levon Kendall from Aaron Gray, 5-0 Panthers.
Kendall's the glue guy, had 40. I said, you beat our Americans when they upset them in the World Championship games.
Down in Argentina, he's from Vancouver, British Columbia, had the game of his life against Team USA.
There's that ball movement. You watch. Look at all the screens.
Pittsnagel, a little bit short on the three, and J.D. Collins, all by his lonesome, wraps up the rebound. That's one of the big matchups. Aaron Gray's not used to playing somebody out around the three-point line.
Well, he's going to have to chase him. They're going to start him out. Ultimately, I think you'll see Kendall chasing him.
Here's Frank Young, and he misses the three. The Mountaineers make more than 10 threes per game. That is second in the nation. They made 20 against Marquette earlier this year, a Big East record.
Well, they've shot 611. Their opponents 397.
5-0 Pittsburgh. John DeGroat takes a bump. A little bit strong on the layup. Gray in there for the rebound, and it comes out to Gansey, who has put himself into contention for Big East Player of the Year this year. That's how good he's been this season.
Well, you talk to Jim Calhoun, he certainly sings his praises. A lot of competition for that, but he is a really terrific player. Very versatile. He can do so many things on the floor. Shoot, handle.
Leads the league in three-point percentage, second in field goal percentage, second in steals, sixth in scoring. Pittsnagel a miss as we check out head coach Jamie Dixon, his third year since taking over for Ben Howland, now starting to get his players into the program, proving that he's not just living off Howland's success. And John Beilein had a bit of a mess to clean up when he took over, and he has turned this West Virginia program around remarkably quickly.
Well, last year they became the darlings, certainly in Morgantown. 2-on-1, nice pass.
The steal for Gansey.
Oh, what a defensive Kendall. Kendall made a great play. He's the glue guy.
And at the other end, DeGroat with a travel. What hustle by Kendall on what looked like a sure layup for Gansey.
What a run they had last year down there in Morgantown. People will go bananas. There's the anticipation, the steal. Good execution, but Kendall comes back, has the good angle with the left hand. He definitely gets the ball. Good block.
You know, the funny part about them last year, West Virginia, Dick, at about this point of the season, they were 2-6 in Big East play. They were playing Pittsburgh. As J.D. Collins misses a three, Dior Fisher, the starting center, was sick.
Right.
So Pittsnagel went into the starting lineup, scored 27. He took off. They took off, made it all the way to the Big East Tournament Championship game, and made it all the way to the Elite Eight in the NCAAs.
Well, got beat by Louisville after having a 20-point lead. Rick Pitino's kids came all the way back, but had that classic with Wake Forest, eliminated them, and Chris Paul.
Double overtime game.
The second round in Sweet 16 beat Bobby Knight's Texas Tech Raiders.
Gray with a handoff for Ramon. He got in trouble. And another turnover. West Virginia forces a ton of turnovers. People aren't used to playing against that 1-3-1.
They put the little guy in the back of the 1-3-1.
Here's the little guy Collins on the drive. Air Bear thought about the three, now muscles it in strong, but missed again, and West Virginia can't buy one.
Air Bears started 116 consecutive games coming into tonight.
Kendall, bounce pass inside. Gray hits the floor. Big guy comes up with it, then lost it.
Pittsnoggle's a daddy now. He's a little diaper dandy at home.
That's right. His son Quincy was born just 6 days ago. Then he went out the next afternoon, and played a game for the Mountaineers.
He scored 12 against Cincinnati. Yeah. Quincy spelled a little different.
That's right.
Nice cut without the ball.
And there's Gansey. Doesn't get it, but he will draw the foul and shoot a couple of free throws when we come back. Pittsburgh leading in the early going. One of the best rivalries the Big East has to offer. It's the Panthers and the Mountaineers getting at it here at the Pitt.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Cisco, changing the way people work, live, play, and learn. Innovation powered by Cisco. And in part by Avis. We try harder.
They call it the backyard brawl. Pittsburgh and West Virginia. The Panthers up 5-0 early. Don't take our word for what this rivalry means. Let the players tell you what it means to them.
It's been a big rivalry as far as football, big rivalry basketball. You know, West Virginia fans hate Pitt fans, and Pitt fans feeling mutual.
You know, it's just two teams that, you know, are always great year in, year out, and, you know, it's one of those just battles every year.
It's a game that when people come out to see it, you know, they're not going to go away disappointed.
Great teams playing, great atmosphere every game, no matter where we're playing at, their place or our place. And this year we're both ranked, so it's going to be even better.
What a year in athletics they've had down in West Virginia. Football team had a terrific year. Rich Rodriguez lost one game to Virginia Tech. They won in Sugar Bowl. They beat Georgia. Did a phenomenal job. Basketball, John Beilein. Great story about John Beilein and the program I read today, ESPN.com by Pat Forty. Pat Forty did a terrific job. Documented how this team was put together. Gansey as a transfer player. The kid O'Bear was going to visit Richmond. And all of a sudden they said, hold it up. I'm being interviewed down there. He was like third choice, John Beilein. Bobby Huggins was the first choice. That was his alma mater. Dan Dockich had the job after 7 days, goes back to Bowling Green, and what a choice they made in John Beilein. The guy is terrific.
John Beilein came from Richmond, and he had recruited Hair Bear to play there, along with his son Patrick Beilein, who's the sixth man on this team now, and J.D. Collins.
Right.
And then here's Gansey with the ball, the transfer from St. Bonaventure, who's turned into one of the best players in the Big East. Pittsnogle was a guy who came out of the state of West Virginia, not that highly acclaimed, not a top 50 prospect or anything, but John Beilein, who's as nice a guy as you'll ever meet, has done an outstanding job because he got rid of some undesirable players, some guys who he didn't think fit into the program, and within 3 years has turned this team into a national contender. They were that close to the Final Four last year.
And he also has a terrific recruiting class coming in. He told me on the phone, and speaking to him, he said, we're getting into the door with kids that we never thought we'd get into. I mean, they're getting people assigned now. Kid Barwinkle, a kid named Deshaun Butler, Jacob Green, Joe Mazzulla, Wellington Smith, Cam Thoroughman. I mean, these guys are all really legit players who are going to help that program.
Because the guys they're playing, their top 6, 5 of them are seniors, so it's going to be a brand new team for the Mountaineers next year. Ramon off a feed from Krauser, his second 3 of the game.
You can't allow Ramon to shoot that jump shot. He got it right in the seam. They're trying to break up that 1-3-1 by going 2-1-2, a little odd even or even odd. Coaches like to utilize that.
Ramon, a 41% three-point shooter on the season.
They try matching up out of the zone. Pittsburgh, you know you're going to see tough man-to-man defense.
Gone are Chevy Troutman and Chris Taft from last year, but Aaron Gray has stepped up huge, and they're a little more guard-oriented now than they've been in the past.
I like this team better than last year. I think they have better chemistry, and I love their young kids off the bench with Fields and Young.
Pittsnogle wide right on the 3. Offensive rebound, Gansey, who's got a nose for the ball. Pittsnogle again. And another offensive rebound for the Mountaineers.
And that's a rarity. They're being out-rebounded by a margin of 9.4.
Unbelievable. Whereas Pittsburgh is one of the best rebounding teams in the country. That's a huge thing to keep an eye on tonight.
But the three-point shooting makes up for that deficiency.
And also the turnovers. They don't commit many, and they turn you over. It's amazing that a team can be this good when they get beaten by 9 on the glass per game.
And last time they played here, last year, both teams between them had 9 turnovers. 70-66 win for West Virginia.
Air Bear misses a 3, and the Mountaineers are ice cold. They don't have a field goal yet in this game. All of their points are on free throws.
0 for 8. Really frigid.
Benjamin out of control. Offensive foul on Keith Benjamin.
The one beauty, though, about West Virginia they're going to continue to shoot the three. Think of West Virginia, I think of, yes, the logo, the NBA logo, Jerry West. You think about Rod Thorne, who does a great job as an administrator with the Nets. You think about Hot Rod Hundley.
All those guys playing in the late 50s and early 60s, the glory era for West Virginia basketball. Now Benjamin standing out of bounds when he caught the ball. Subs coming in as Sam Young, a terrific freshman, number 23 for Pittsburgh, has checked into the game, along with Terrell Biggs, a 6'8" freshman out of Nanuet, New York. And for West Virginia, the coach's son, number 3, Patrick Beeline, who's in range as soon as he steps onto the floor. This is him with the ball now.
Well, he's the career three-point shooter at West Virginia. In fact, he's, I think, 2 ahead of Mr. Pittsnoggle.
He and Pittsnoggle both have more than 200 threes in their career.
Nice drive.
Nice look away by Collins.
Great job by Collins. Good penetration. No one rotated over. What a story about John Beeline. He's coached on a high school level, Erie Community College, drove the bus while he was there.
Yep. He's coached NAIA, Division II, Division I, and he's won wherever he's been.
Nazareth, NAIA, then he went to Lemoyne, and then he went over to Canisius, then to Richmond.
Young baseline double team, had the shot altered. It's out of bounds to Pittsburgh. Look how he looks off the defense here.
Yeah, nice little fake. Huh? Yes, sir. Nobody rotated over, though. He had a truck. You could have put anybody through that hole. That was a hole like the Steelers were opening up in the Super Bowl. They got 10 of them in the house tonight.
That's right. They're going to go nuts. Apparently some kind of a halftime ceremony coming up. They're going to bring the house down here. Biggs the kick out to Krauser, who tested the NBA waters. The foul before the shot, so no basket. Krauser, like Pittsnoggle, tested the NBA waters, wanted to see what his draft status would be as he sits down. And then Krauser, who's already 24 years of age, decided to come back. And he looks like he's a little shaken up, maybe limping a little bit as he goes to the bench.
Well, he made a smart decision coming back. Some kids out there didn't make a smart decision. I mean, if you're going to be drafted and you're guaranteed a first round, one can understand it. But to just have your name out there and not be drafted or become a second rounder, I can't understand it.
Biggs, the 15-footer, and the big man shows a soft touch.
He's had some good moments for them. Biggs has certainly played well against Syracuse. Came in, got 5 big points, had 9 in the win over Wisconsin. Young had 16 against Wisconsin.
There are those in the program who feel in the last 6 or 7 years, Dick, this is the best freshman class that Pittsburgh has had. That's saying something. They've had some good players come through.
You know, Barry Rawson does a great job, the assistant coach. He's from Severian himself, where Fields is from, Taft was from, and one of the greatest shooters of all time, Chris Mullen,
was from. The lefty. The foul on Antonio Graves. There's Barry Rawson, banged up his knee in practice a couple of days ago, but still looking sharp.
He didn't dress like that when he was at Severian. You know, you talk about assistants, he's outstanding. I'll give you another guy that's outstanding some people should start to recognize. Butch Pierre at LSU. In fact, LSU beat West Virginia at West Virginia, and it was Jerry West. They put his jersey up, his number. I can't believe they waited this long.
I know.
Wow.
Joe Hairbear makes 1 of 2. Subs coming in for the Mountaineers, who are not that deep. Pittsnoggle and Hairbear go out. Frank Young and Rob Summers come in. Summers is a 7-footer. Pittsnoggle sits down just for a couple of minutes at a time, not much more than that.
See, they're trying to split the guy up on top with 2 on the outside. See, that's 2-1, throw the ball over the top, and then right to the foul line area.
And Benjamin leaves it short. Beeline wraps up the rebound, lost it.
Benjamin's an outstanding athlete.
Levance Fields now with the ball, a freshman, number 2.
He's a solid point guard.
Yeah, it's going to be his team next year. They're going to give him the keys to the car. He's the point guard of the future.
I tell you, this league is so tough. Pittsburgh's lost their last 2. Tough loss to Connecticut and a tough loss to Georgetown. Had a 15-point lead. Yeah. You watch that Georgetown team. John Thompson III is doing a phenomenal job with that team. They have built off that win over Duke.
They are as hot as any team in the league, and they have put together an NCAA tournament-worthy resume right now.
What about Louis Orr and Seton Hall? 6 in a row.
6-3 in the league. Also an out-of-league win at NC State. Gansey misses a 3, and still West Virginia cannot buy an outside shot. They've got 1 field goal, and that was on a layup.
Well, Jamie Dixon's kids are doing a good job guarding the perimeter. They really know the scouting report. They're attacking on the perimeter, not giving them open looks.
West Virginia 0 for 8 from three-point range. A low-scoring start between these two longtime rivals who are meeting for the 169th time. Look at that.
Nice little shake and bang
there by Fields, huh?
I had quite a game, Brad Nessler and I, the other day. Duke in North Carolina. At the end, it was the JJ show.
3-point lead for Pittsburgh. When we come back, one of the great moments in the history of Division I college basketball. Pitt by 3 here at the Peterson Event Center. Time now for ESPNU's Pride of the Program. And in the spotlight tonight, Niagara. The Purple Eagle, who flew the highest on the basketball court for Niagara University, was two-time All-American Calvin Murphy. His 68 points in a game against Syracuse remains the third best total all time in Division I history. And more Pride of the Program features available on a mobile ESPN, the new nifty ESPN phone that Howie Schwab was showing us before the game today. That thing is sharp. Let's go inside the play and see how Pitt's attacking that zone, Dick.
Well, what they're trying to do up on top here, as you can see, they're trying to put two against this one, the split. And then they're trying, if he goes out here, to open up the lane area. Take a look right here. Put the ball over the top. There's the slide. Now he slides right behind the top guy. And you've got to make that shot, though. You get that open shot. You know, West Virginia is 0 for 8 shooting the three. Coming into this game, the last 3 games, they made 33 threes.
Averaging better than 10 per game on the season. They don't make an extraordinary percentage of threes, but they take an extraordinary number of threes. Again, they had 20 in a game against Marquette. Aaron Gray with a miss from inside. Crowd wanted to foul. This is a rabid crowd, one of the toughest environments to play in college basketball.
Well, you know, students are right on top of you here at the Oakland Zoo, and they're really alive. Have done a good job keeping the ball away from Gray, West Virginia.
The bounce is good for Patrick Beeline. Finally, the Mountaineers have a 3, and they've tied the game at 10.
You know, at first, they didn't think he could play at this level. Shows you what the coaching staff knows. They were wrong, man. They were wrong. He can flat out play. He wanted to play for his dad.
And he and his dad told me he's going to try to play overseas next year. As a senior, try to see if he can play professionally. And with the unlimited range, he might find a home somewhere, I think.
He'll get a chance. As long as you shoot the ball like he can.
Aaron Gray looking for a 3-point play. As he goes to the line, let's go to Dave Revson now for the Sports Center, 30-30.
Pitt and multiple media news outlets reporting today that Wayne Gretzky was recorded on a wiretap within the last month discussing the alleged NHL gambling ring with Coyotes assistant Rick Tocchet. Gretzky was reportedly taped discussing how to keep his wife Janet from being implicated. This runs counter to Gretzky's claims that he knew nothing about the story until it broke this week. Plenty of details on that story coming up after the game on SportsCenter anytime on ESPN News. Guys.
Not a good story for the National Hockey League, which was having a nice year coming off the lockout last year. That foul on Darius Nichols, his second. He's gone to the bench. J.D. Collins is back in with the ball right now for the Mountaineers.
They want to pick up that dribble. I'll tell you, Beeline's a little leader out there as well. He's one of the top 6 men in the game.
Pittsnoggle trying to shake Aaron Gray. Collins for 3. Tapped out by Gansey, but into the hands of Ramon. Pittsburgh wants to clean up on the glass against the rebounding challenged Mountaineers.
Nice
Here's
move.
Gray going to work again.
I tell you, he's one of the most improved players in the nation. I think he's number 1. Think about guys that improve. You think of Cartier, Martin, the player down at Kansas State. He's done a great job. Copeland down at Seton Hall.
Pittsnoggle, a deep 3. Last year, Aaron Gray backed up Chris Taft, who entered the NBA and is now getting mop-up minutes with Golden State. But the coaching staff told me yesterday that in pickup games this summer, when the players were choosing sides, Aaron Gray was always the first pick. They knew how good he was going to be this year.
Well, he has shown it in the tough Big East. He's averaging a double-double, 16 and 11. Look at this environment.
We are here at the Peterson Event Center. Not only tonight, the whole season is sold out here at the Pete. The Backyard Brawl, the 169th meeting between the Panthers and the Mountaineers, along with Dick Vitale. I'm Dan Shulman. What's at stake here tonight? West Virginia is unbeaten in a Big East play, leading the conference at 8-0. Pittsburgh is unbeaten at home this year, 13-0. And since they moved to this building 4 years ago, Dick, Pittsburgh is 61-5 in this arena.
Well, no one's beaten them twice here. West Virginia's trying to be a club to beat them twice. Lost here to Connecticut, lost to Bucknell, West Virginia.
Joe Hairbear picked up that last foul, Dick, his second. So some foul difficulty for the Mountaineers. West Virginia beat them there and beat them here last year. A couple of close games. Beat them here by 4, beat them down there by 5 in overtime. Ball deflected, but a Beeline has it. Now gets it back from Gansey.
They really got a lot of pride on the defensive side. Pittsburgh really challenges you on shots. Gray is staying with Pittsnagel. He's having success. Pittsnagel hasn't been able to get off yet from the 3.
That defense, that toughness started under Ben Howland, and Jamie Dixon has kept it rolling here in his 3 years as the head coach. Collins doesn't get the bounce, and Gray, who's the leading rebounder in the Big East, snares another one. Here's Krauser looking for space underneath. The kick to Graves in the corner.
Nice job by Krauser to create that opportunity. Didn't convert it. You mentioned Ben Howland doing a terrific job out in the West Coast at UCLA.
We tried to get a matchup going between Pitt and UCLA before. Jamie Dixon said that they're such good friends they don't want to play each other.
I mean, I like when Bino Cookman's in the house tonight. Bino said, hey, Jamie, you got to play some tough teams in your pre-conference schedule.
A steal by Krauser. The pull-up is deflected away by Pittsnagel. Krauser didn't know there was a Mountaineer behind him closing fast.
Yeah, he came up quickly. Pittsnagel's got that long range. Became a real darling of the West Virginia fans in that run for the Final Four. Got beaten in the Elite 8.
Well, as he's been referred to a lot, I think Pat Ford did it in that article, the man verb, because when he has a big game, West Virginia fans will shout at the opposing team, you've been Pittsnageled.
I'll tell you this, talked about his wedding as well. Just a down-home guy, man.
Corn dogs and nachos, right? My kind of party. There's the spin by Pittsnagel, but he's going to get called for the offensive foul. West Virginia can't put the ball in the basket right now, but they are only down 5. It's the backyard brawl. The Mountaineers and the Panthers getting after it here at the Pitt.
Dave Revson, our Sports Center in-game studios, pass along a couple women's scores to you. Some shockers. The #1 team in the nation goes down as North Carolina's home winning streak comes to an end. 98-95. Maryland beats them, and LSU wins at Tennessee, snapping the Vols' 64-game SEC home win streak.
Hi, Dave. Thank you. Here the fans welcoming Dickie V, who reluctantly went into the crowd. Had a little fun with the students tonight. Hey, it's a big day and night of basketball on Saturday as Rivalry Week presented by Cisco Systems continues. Iowa and Indiana both trying to bounce off losses earlier this week or bounce back from losses. Will tangle at noon Eastern down in Bloomington. And then #4 Villanova, fresh off a win over city rival St. Joe's, taking on DePaul. And then the game you'll be at tonight, Gonzaga against Stanford. 9 o'clock Eastern game day. We'll be out there. Adam Morrison and the Zags taking on Hernandez, Harrius, Grunfeld, and the Cardinals.
Well, you know, we got a show from J.J. Redick. We expect now, Brad Nessler and I, a show from Mr. Morrison going down there against Stanford. Really improved basketball team. Hernandez really playing well. Harrius playing well. Should be a nice matchup. 35 in a row at home. The winningest home win streak in America.
That's right. Pittsburgh's won 13 in a row here at home, but that pales in comparison to Gonzaga's 35 straight.
Well, you know, Bruce Weber had that, but now he sits in the studio. Right. He lets Penn State beat him. Come on now, Mr. Weber.
How many orange ties do you think Mr. Weber has?
He's done a terrific job with Illinois. He's got a big game with Ohio State. At Ohio State, who had that win over Michigan. You know, you mentioned Indiana and Iowa we have. That is a must-win for Indiana. They've been a disappointment the last month.
Ronald Ramon has a game-high 8 points, and Pittsburgh is up by 7.
He can shoot the ball.
Yes, he can.
They got to get him shots against that zone. And that is exactly what the coaching staff has done in analyzing the video, trying to get him free.
And off the ball, Mike Gansey is going to get called for the foul.
On West Virginia's side, they got to get Pittsnagel going. He's only had 3 games where he didn't score in double figures. Tonight, he is struggling shooting the basketball. 0 points. 0 for 5, 0 for 4 from the three-point line.
Gansey's got 4 points, but all of them have come to the free throw line.
Nothing fancy. There's that 1-3-1 zone, the little guy in the back of it.
And Fields drives it all the way in. Can't finish. Frank Young the rebound.
John Beilein said if we could only bring our rebound margin down to about a -3 or 4, it would help us immensely. And you know, by not turning the ball over, they get more possessions.
That makes up,
and
right.
More possessions with the way they shoot the 3.
Well, you talked about Pittsnagel struggling. Here's the video evidence. He's thrown the ball away. He's missed shots, and he's a guy they depend upon heavily.
He's too good a player, though. Guys like that go to little spurts like that. He'll break out.
Young with a miss, and Kendall brings down the rebound for the Panthers. West Virginia missing from outside and missing from in close as well.
You know, Young's an undersized power forward. Has good range as a shooter, though.
They lost a really underrated player, Tyrone Sally, graduating last year. He was a terrific player for them.
He was their leading scorer.
Yep.
Fisher was a shot blocker.
They're not quite as deep or as athletic as they were last year.
But they know how to win. They got a winning mindset.
Kendall inside, Ramon the miss.
Kendall's the glue guy. He's the glue guy is what they call him. He's their blender.
Dick, NBA action on ESPN continues tomorrow night with a doubleheader featuring some top teams from each conference. It's San Antonio against New Jersey at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN HD. And then two of the hottest teams in the league, Dallas and Denver, going head-to-head at 10:30 Eastern.
You know, it's amazing as well. Pitt hasn't scored, but Ida has Krauser as well.
Only 4 on the shot clock, Dick. They're having a conversation. Did West Virginia ever have possession of that ball? Should the shot clock have reset? And now Jim Burr, Doug Schauser, and Mike Roberts are going to have a meeting to decide. Jim Burr, the lead official.
Nice piece of officiating. Yep. Jim Burr had the game with Duke versus North Carolina as well.
Did you have any fun there on Tuesday?
Oh, it was all kinds of fun. Brad and I had a blast. How could you not have fun? North Carolina, you talk about a young team with an unbelievable potential.
Fields launches a 3 with the shot clock running down. Out of bounds to West Virginia. Not a popular call. The fans feeling it went off Pittsnoggle, and then Pittsnoggle and Gray getting the elbows up a little bit in the aftermath.
Doesn't matter what the fans think. It's what the Zebras say. And the Zebras say the ball goes to the Mountaineers.
The Mountaineers have made just 1 3-pointer so far. Here's Frank Young trying his luck. Nails it from the corner.
Just a matter of time. They just keep shooting them, shooting them, shooting them all night long. And eventually they're going to drain nothing but nylon.
They trailed Pittsburgh in both games last season and had huge second halves to win each game, one of them in overtime. Well, now Pittsburgh turnover.
They were down 12 down here and then went on a run at the end. Scored 22 in the last 28 points.
Beeline with a penetration, Young with the tray.
Yeah, there's Young with that trifecta. Good man-to-man defense.
Beeline, Fields won't let him free for a shot. Pittsnoggle now trying to get down to the post. The kick out to Young, misses the 3. And a foul on Gansey. And another critical foul picked up by the Mountaineers, who generally foul as infrequently as any team in the country. But Gansey has picked up his second.
That's a great point. They only allow the opposition to shoot about 9-10 foul shots a game. And that's a great plus. You got to work in that area. Mike Krzyzewski, I know, was telling Doris and I, they work on trying to not allow teams to get to that foul line.
Well, right now, Dick, 3 Mountaineers each have 2 fouls. Gansey is on the bench, Nichols is on the bench, and Hairbear is on the bench as John Beeline goes a little bit deeper, bringing Alex Ruoff, a freshman from Spring Hill, Florida, into the game for Gansey. That's a big loss for them.
Well, you know, you look at the bench play, certainly the edge goes to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's bench has been so productive all year long. That's been one of the strengths of Jamie Dixon.
Boy, John Beeline is all over one of the officials, Mike Roberts. And now Jim Burr's going to come over and talk to Beeline. Beeline is as mild-mannered on the sideline as any Division I coach you'll see, but he is hot right now.
I like his staff, too. He has Jerry Dunn, a former Penn State coach, sitting right next to him, a head coach. A lot of people are doing that, bringing in guys that were former head coaches, putting them on the sideline. A lot of those guys have such incentive. They want to work so diligently to get back. Steve Robinson has won at North Carolina. Dave Hobbs at Alabama. Certainly George Blaney at Connecticut.
10 points now for Ronald Ramon, easily the high scorer in this game.
Well, he's a guy that they really are going to count on to shoot the basketball against that zone. There's the screens, pass, go away, spread the court.
Not a lot of motion right now for West Virginia. Everybody's standing still until Young took a 3. They look out of sync right now, Dick.
They really like to get a lot of spacing, too.
Ruoff forces the turnover. Good hands by the freshman.
They got to get a big 3 out of Pittsnoggle. He's got to give them that momentum.
Beeline looking for a screen. Threw it away. Fields with Collins back. And he is fouled and will go to the line.
Feels very quick, very active point guard. Tacks the basket after the good steal, good anticipation.
And the Oakland Zoo loving it. The hometown Panthers up by 6.
In the studio with Fran Fraschilla and our special guest tonight, Illinois head coach Bruce Weber. Coming up on the UPS halftime report, we will break down the Big East versus the Big Ten. Should be good. What do you guys think of the first half so far?
You know, Aaron Gray, 7 feet, 270. He's out there challenging Pittsnagle's threes. That's pretty good.
He's limited to threes. Physical rivalry game. Defense is winning right now, and Pitt's got the upper hand.
Lots more from these guys coming up at the half. Plus, Janet Jones-Gretzky issues a statement. We'll tell you what she said in just a few minutes. Dan?
Hey, Dan, I know one thing. If you ask Mr. Weber, I know who he's going to say is the best conference, the Big Ten. But he's wrong. For depth factor, it has to be the Big East. You see all the steals. You want to go get some autographs.
Some others in the house?
Hey, let me just tell you this. You know what's amazing? You look right now, West Virginia is -6, and they have shot 3 for 21 and 2 for 14 from the three-point line, and you're only down 6?
And they're getting out-rebounded 18-10, yet somehow now they're down 7 as Fields makes the free throw. This has been as bad a half as West Virginia's had, but they're still in the ball game.
Especially when they shoot the three. They're in a ball game all the time. Knock 2 or 3 of those down in a row.
Rebounded by Young. They're somehow going to try to get to halftime without Hairbear, without Gansey, each of whom has 2 fouls. And with Pittsnagle not having a point in this game.
You know, Jamie's got to be sitting there saying, we played great defense. We got them shooting in a pathetic fashion. 2 for 14 from the 3, 3 for 21. As you look at the bench right there, a little concerned look on the West Virginia Mountaineers, and yet they're right in the game.
And you can see when they have lost, they have not shot the ball that well. They rely heavily on their outside shooting. That foul on Aaron Gray, his first. He has certainly done his job on Pittsnagle in the first half.
Well, you know, Pittsnagle's 5th in the conference in scoring behind the likes of Doobie and Quinn and Foy and Novak. He's number 5, and he's having a tough time here tonight.
Pittsnagle doesn't go down in the post very often, trying to get something going down there, and he missed the jump hook. Generally a perimeter player, even though he's 6'11", 250. Now Gray calling for the ball. This is where Pittsburgh may be able to exploit something here, is let Gray go at Pittsnagle on the inside of this end.
They're playing 3 guards. Almost like 3-point guards. Yep. All these guys can have a pretty good handle. They handle the ball.
And Krauser, you're right.
Handle the ball really well.
Here's the isolation, the double team on Gray. He's a pretty good passer, averaging better than 2 assists per game.
Try to get the ball in the post and throw zigzag over the top of the help side of the defense. Look at Pittsnagle now, playing him tough. Gray's done a heck of a job defensively. He has really challenged him. There he is right there. All you can do is challenge him, make him take the tough shot.
Gray is just so big. Timeout on the floor. 7-point lead for Pittsburgh. Can Pittsnagle get going for the Mountaineers? Pittsburgh, the backyard brawl. The Panthers lead the Mountaineers by 7. Pittsburgh basketball with 3 on the shot clock. Some ugly shooting in this game for West Virginia. Just 13 points on the night. Only 3 made field goals in this game, Dick.
Yeah, but if you're playing good defense, and they've done that, they've limited Pitt to only 20. If you're right now, Pitt, you would expect a much bigger lead the way they've played on the defensive side and the way West Virginia shot the basketball. So that's the positive for John Beilein. For Jamie Dixon, he's got to be really proud of what they've done defensively. But eventually that three's going down. I'm telling you, Dan, you can only hold it for so long. They're just going to keep firing.
Collins on the drive, his second layup of the game, and just the 4th field goal for the Mountaineers.
And they're down 5. Down 5, and they're shooting a horrendous percentage.
And 2 of their better players, and Gansey and Hairbear, out on the bench with 2 fouls. Pittsnagle hasn't scored, and they're only down 5.
They're very active in that 1-3-1 zone, though. Good slides, play the passing lanes.
Hairbear doing what he can as a cheerleader over on the bench, making his 117th career start every game that he's played under John Beilein, who recruited him and others to Richmond before Beilein got the job in Morgantown. And now it's a part of success. Both of these coaches, their names are coming up for other possible openings, and both of them don't want to have anything to do with it. They want to coach the teams they've got.
John Beilein's very happy where he's at. He's in love. He could have had opportunities last year. Hey, 5 losses so far in this floor. The Peterson Krauser Center. 61-5. Connecticut, West Virginia, Syracuse, Bucknell, and Georgetown. Can West Virginia be the first team to beat them twice on this floor?
If Pittsburgh loses, it would be 3 losses in a row. They haven't lost 3 games in a row in 5 years. Ruoff, the freshman, rattles one down. Alex Ruoff brings the Mountaineers within 2.
Just a matter of time. They are so effective and so confident shooting the 3. You know what was on their backboard? We will win because we pass and shoot really well.
Off the hands of Kendall. West Virginia can tie or take the lead.
And they're right on the blackboard. Howie Schwab and I saw it.
How about this?
Just a matter of time.
Yep.
What did I tell you a minute ago,
The shots will go down.
They'll eventually go down. They've been doing that the entire year. Did it last year. Why is it going to change? They have shot as a team 611 threes. Their opponents 397.
Alex Ruoff and Patrick Beeline with threes to give West Virginia the lead. Now a hard foul by Frank Young.
There it is, stepping up to that three-point line. I mean, he shot that from downtown. I mean, that was Wilkes-Barre, baby.
Yeah, that's nothing. He's got unlimited range. You get him over the half court, and he'll be launching. Aaron Gray at the line. Last year averaged about 4 points and 3 rebounds per game, but he's lost a lot of weight, gotten in better condition, can play a ton of minutes, and he is as imposing a big guy as there is in the Big East right now.
Well, I know you're dying to hear my all-improved team. If I had to pick 5 guys, my all-improved team, Aaron Gray would be number 1. Rayshawn Terry, North Carolina. Torian Green down in Florida. Cartier Martin, certainly from Kansas State. And Mr. Copeland from Seton Hall. And all those guys that are jumping and been screaming and yelling for a coaching change at Seton Hall. It's so really nice to see Louis Orr just roll his sleeves up in a classy way and go out and win. And he may get them in the NCAA tournament. What a job he's doing at Seton Hall. Right
now, the Pirates are 6-3 in the Big East, and they've got a great non-conference win at North Carolina State. They're putting together a solid resume. Pittsnoggle still ice cold, but West Virginia right back in this game. Ruoff the handoff to Collins. He sees a seam, takes a bump, and will go to the line. Kendall called for the foul.
Nice job of penetrating, very strong and quick going to the basket.
Number 2 on Kendall. Don't forget, great basketball coming your way Saturday's Rivalry Week, presented by Cisco Systems. Continues Iowa, Indiana at noon, Villanova at DePaul at 2. And then, of course, the nighttime game that you'll be at, Stanford and Gonzaga with a game day crowd at 9 Eastern.
Well, you know, things are really getting tough down there on Mike Davis, and this is a must-win. You're at home. Steve Walford, former Hoosier superstar, now comes to Bloomington, Indiana. They got beat by Northwestern. I mean, life in the Big Ten is dangerous. Please don't tell Bruce Weber. I don't want him to hear this, okay? I was asked tonight on SportsCenter, who do I think will ultimately win the Big Ten?
I heard this.
I said, slight edge, but he can't hear me. Slight edge. Michigan State, because they have Illinois at home.
That's right. That could be the difference.
They get better at the end of the year. But please don't let Bruce hear that. Please don't let Bruce, because I love him, and I love the Orange Crush.
He's done a heck of a job this year. They lost so much talent. The national runner-up last year, and they've had some role players step in, and they've really had a terrific season.
Oh, terrific. Yeah. Absolutely. You lose the likes of the players they lost, Head and Williams and company.
Final shot of the half to West Virginia. Amazingly, they're going to go out at least in a tie, or maybe not, as they turn it over. And Pittsburgh will have 2.8 seconds to try to take the lead.
Now, tell me, my friend, when you have done a game and a team shot as poorly as West Virginia has shot on the road, and that they can possibly go in at halftime with the score tied.
Amazing.
22. Let me tell you this. This has been ugly. I mean, put no blood any other way. It's a backyard brawl. It's old style Big East, but this is not what you call fluid and the kind of basketball that you'd like to see. But the bottom line, it is tied at halftime.
They had all kinds of guys in foul trouble. Pittsnoggle didn't score in the first half. Yet a couple of late threes by Ruoff and Beeline, and West Virginia somehow, some way goes to the break tied at 22 with Pittsburgh here at the Peak. Come on back for the second half, but first time for the UPS halftime report as we send you to the studio. Let's be honest, the basketball was a little bit ugly in the first half, but they're tied at 22. Both teams, especially West Virginia, shot the ball terribly, but West Virginia forced a ton of turnovers, kept Pittsburgh from extending that lead, and somehow they're in the ball game.
Well, you know, it's really amazing. They're tied at halftime, and you ready for this? If you would have asked John Beeline, could we be tied at halftime, and Gansey and Pittsnogle are 0 for 10, he would have said, are you serious?
No shot.
Those are their two top scorers. But 22-22, and that's what defense will do for you. Bottom line is, they live by the three, and my friends, they'll either win or lose with the three-point shot.
Gansey did hit some free throws in the first half. Pittsnogle didn't score a point. And for Jamie Dixon, Carl Krauser didn't score a point in the first half. A big game, bigger than most. Not only a league game between two contenders, but also a rivalry game, the backyard brawl.
Brawl.
Look at Carl Krauser getting the fans all pumped up as the second half begins.
I see. You really like saying that backyard brawl. You really love that. I can tell.
I've done a few of these. I did the game down in Morgantown last year.
You did?
Some kind of basketball game when Pittsnogle had the breakout game. These two teams don't like each other, and their fans like each other even less.
Last time I was in Morgantown, they upset Connecticut.
They want you back.
Oh, wow.
You haven't been there in a few years.
No, I haven't been there.
Pittsnogle misses the turnaround.
Great place, though. Great environment. Love their basketball.
John DeGroat with travel. He did that early in the first half. Now look at Carl Krauser. This is what he did at the beginning of the game, and this is what he did at the beginning of the half. Think he's happy to be back on campus for one more year?
Wow. Better than playing for the Arkansas Rim Rockers like guys were doing, Matt Walsh and company, instead of playing in a Florida-Kentucky game. And all those Kentucky fans, relax. You're going to go to the NCAA. Don't get so nervous. Relax. They're going to win enough games.
Hairbear, the kick to Pittsnogle, and another one rattles out. He can't buy one.
He can't buy one.
Pittsnogle is 0 for 9 in this game.
Wow, I thought maybe a little walk right there.
Yep. But Doug Schau is saying a West Virginia player going to hand on the ball, so Krauser still had a dribble. Kendall inside. Krauser took a shot in the face either from the ball or from Kendall, and he's blinking as he goes back on D.
You know, Kendall is a blender. He's a glue player, a solid player to have in your five, but it's hard to believe he got 40 against America's finest.
Guys like Terrence Roberts, Curtis Withers, a great team.
Charlotte had a nice win over Temple. That Atlantic 10 is underrated. It's a better conference than people believe.
I agree.
And George Washington is legit.
Pittsnogle and Gray, just by being big, got a hand on it, but it's off in. It'll stay with the Mountaineers.
What a terrific environment go here. There's the cut without the ball. He comes up with the loose ball. They didn't have really good timing there. That's Pittsnogle still struggling. We're going to watch him get the ball inside. Can't get a break. Won't go down.
Shot clock at 5. Graves knocks it out of bounds. Shot clock at 4.
What a run they had last year. All the people were absolutely bananas. You got the Beeline Bomb Squad, man. The Bombers, the Beeline Bombers shooting those threes. Beating Wake Forest was incredible with Chris Paul.
Timeout, West Virginia can't get it in.
And then they beat Bobby Knight, Texas Tech. Bobby Knight sings the praises of John Beeline.
Virginia atop the Big East, unbeaten in the league at the midway point of the conference season. Pittsburgh a very respectable 6-3. Remember, 16 teams now in the Big East, and the depth of this conference is incredible. When you look at the way like Louisville and Notre Dame, pretty good teams, how they are struggling. Hey, Monday night, Big Monday on ESPN to Connecticut at Villanova. You look at UConn, Villanova, West Virginia. Who's the best team in the Big East right now?
Well, why don't we ask Mike Tranghese? He knows better than I would say Connecticut. I think Connecticut with those 4 first-rounders, they play defense really well. They've been playing great on the defensive end. They block shots better than anybody in America. Field goal percentage in the 30s. I really like that team.
West Virginia's got to win at Villanova this year. That's a nice victory for them. And West Virginia will host Connecticut in the second half of the regular season.
Can you imagine Villanova with Mr. Sumter as he walked there? I'll tell you about the depth of that conference. Louisville and Notre Dame, if they were in most conferences, other than maybe the Big Ten, they are, to me, an automatic first division team. The Big Ten is obviously, just to me, a slight edge behind the Big East, and it's because of the depth of the Big East.
And right now, neither Louisville nor Notre Dame assured at all of a spot in the Big East tournament. Only 12 of the 16 teams get invited to New York.
Krauser on the board.
With a 3.
That's a big 3 by Krauser. Krauser. And hey, the ACC, as long as you got Duke in North Carolina, it's still the granddaddy of all, and the tournament is unbelievable. I can't wait for that ACC tournament because that'll be exciting too.
First points of the night for Krauser. Nice cut by Gansey. The assist to Hairbear.
See, those are the little things that Gansey does. Jay Billis and I were talking, and Jay's a big fan of Mr. Gansey. Move without the ball, shoot the perimeter shot, very active, pass the ball exceptionally well, plays the point at 1-3-1.
John Beilein coached against him when Beilein was at Richmond, and Gansey was at St. Bonaventure, so he recruited him when he became available. Aaron Gray with another deuce inside.
Well, they did a great job right there against that 1-3-1. Had Gray down in the box, back guy slid, guy came down to the wing, but didn't get down quick enough from the wing to the low box, and Gray was in great position to score.
Gansey the three, and the rebound to Gray.
You know, you talk about Gansey, a lot of people consider him as an All-American candidate.
Wow.
I think there's 3 locked spots for the All-American team: Reddick, Morrison, and Sheldon Williams.
Graves with a miss. Kendall battling for the rebound, finds Gray, who misses.
See the great job by Kendall there, making that little extra pass. It's picking up a little bit right now, Mr. Schulman.
Yes, it is.
Great to have you back. Happy 39. You're a legit 39. I'm a Jack Benny 39.
Don't remind me what I'm going to be next year. Do me that favor.
Oh, gee whiz. You're really nice to me. I'm 66, and you're worried about being 40.
4 minutes into the second half. The Oakland Zoo is rocking here at the Pitt. Gray tips it away, but cannot save it. It'll be out of bounds to West Virginia when we come back.
If West Virginia is to go back to Morgantown with a win, Mr. Pittsnoggle has to start get going.
The rivalry continues. The backyard brawl. The Panthers up 5 on the Mountaineers. You talked about it going into the break. If West Virginia is going to win this game, they've got to get something from Kevin Pittsnoggle, and so far tonight, it just hasn't been his night.
Well, he's 0 for 11. He's turned the ball over, just having a tough night. I wonder if he's staying up late because of Quincy, the little baby. Maybe he's being a great dad, staying up late. He's a little bit tired. He's just having tough luck. The ball's just not falling for the kid. I mean, he's right on the rim. They're just not going down. He's having a tough night. Club's still in the game, but he's a competitor and a fighter, and he'll keep scrapping.
One of the leading scorers of the Big East, better than 19 points per game, 0 for 11 tonight, 0 for 6 from three-point range. If people aren't aware of what Dick was talking about, Kevin and his wife Heather celebrated the birth of their first child, a boy, Quincy, last Friday down in Morgantown.
A diaper dandy.
There he is inside, and a block. Sam Young coming over. And a shot clock violation is the call, so it's going to be Pittsburgh ball one way or the other.
Young, real good-looking athlete. As you take a look at the little guy.
You want to talk about the diaper dandies?
8 pounds, 5 ounces.
9 pounds.
Oh, 9 pounds?
5 ounces.
Wow, I was told it was 8'5".
22 inches tall.
Wow.
And range out to the three-point line already, they're saying.
And I wonder if they gave him a scholarship already. There's that 1-3-1 zone, trying to get 2 up on top. Guy at the high post.
What a block that was by Young. They are so excited about his future here in Pittsburgh. He's just a freshman.
He's had some great moments. Asked the Fighting Irish in Notre Dame. Had a great game against the Irish.
Another turnover and a foul committed by Ronald Ramon. That 1-3-1 gets in your head. West Virginia forces a ton of turnovers. Pittsburgh committed 13 in the first half.
You know, that's a great point you made. Psychologically, people are constantly thinking about it in preparation, and it really plays with your mind. It also slows tempo down. It makes you have to make extra passes. I'm surprised more teams don't use zones the way teams really have struggled shooting the basketball.
I remember Leonard Hamilton running that 1-3-1 down in Miami. Darius Rice was out at the top at 6'10". Hairbear in some difficulty. The kick to Collins, wide open for 3. And Kendall comes down with a rebound.
Kendall's that glue guy. He's a real active player. Pass the ball well. Playing without Gray right now. They're a little small.
And that's going to be a held ball, says Jimmy Burr. The arrow will keep it at this end of the floor. Good defense there by J.D. Collins.
Wow, you look at the growth of the Big East. I think back to the guy, the architect, the Frank Lloyd Wright, Dave Gavitt, whose son's in the house. Dan now works with Mike Tranghese, does a terrific job. Dave was so ahead of people. He had such vision. Put that league together, got the TV contracts, came, coordinated it. At the same time, the arrival of ESPN.
That's right. And of you. Ronald Ramon, his 3 rattles out. Gray inside.
get a score
Easy
there.
one with a foul on Pittsnoggle.
I can't believe 27 years. I was talking to a writer doing a story on me, Lacey Banks, out of Chicago, and the first game I ever did, first major college game for ESPN, DePaul and Wisconsin. Ray Meyer, Mark Aguirre, way before you, my man.
I've seen the video from the open of that game.
I'm sad, though, when I think about that.
What?
You know, all the time that's gone by and time flying. I'm in the last chapter. You're a young guy, 39.
Listen, you got a few pages left in this chapter, I'm thinking. You're still going strong.
I hope.
Fields in for Ramon right now. I mean, you love it as much now as you did back in 79,
that
right?
never stops. You know that. The moment I don't feel that electricity, excitement. I mean, how could you not like sitting there courtside? Mike Tranghese was teasing me before the game. Sitting courtside and get paid. Duke, Carolina, now over here.
Loose ball underneath.
Nice play.
Comes up with it.
He's a good-looking athlete. 15 and 12 he had against the Fighting Irish in Notre Dame. Crowd gets a little lift.
And now a foul against West Virginia, a push-off.
And Young, he's a politician. He goes to Mike Roberts and says, nice call. He taps the official on the back. That's a smart play. And he is on the inside with the score around the basket. Great elevation. Terrific legs.
Dick, that call went on Pittsnoggle. That's his third. It's been a miserable night on the court for Kevin Pittsnoggle. Deep three for Krauser. Look at the rebound by Gray, but then he travels as he falls down. He says he was trying to signal a timeout, didn't get the call.
Too late with the timeout call. Jamie Dixon, think about this. First year as a head coach, replaces Ben Holland, who got this program in high gear. Look at this, the timeout. 31 and 5.
Amazing.
Last 4 years, they've been in the NCAA tournament, school record. 3 of the 4, they went to the Sweet 16.
Last year knocked out in the first round by Pacific, hoping for bigger and better things this year. They played in 3 straight Big East tournament championship games as well, all against Connecticut, winning 1 of those 3.
I think they got to toughen up their pre-conference schedule. They got to make that a lot tougher. In fact, Bino Cook was teasing Jamie Dixon before the game. Great to see Bino here tonight. I mean, I got him on ESPN News tonight.
They named the media room after
him. Yeah, they named the media room. It's the first time he's been here in 4 years.
That foul on Aaron Gray, his second. The drive by Collins, and he's keeping him in this game right now.
He's doing a terrific job finding a gap in the defense and attacking off the dribble. I love people that attack. That's why Duke goes to the free throw line. Everybody talks about conspiracy. They spread the court, put the ball to the deck, and they attack, especially if people get in foul trouble.
Gray comes out to help. Pittsburgh having a little bit of trouble making passes. Not there. Krauser to Young.
Young can finish around the basket. Great vision, great look by Krauser. Good two-man play. Talk about great tandems. A guy sitting in the studio, Mr. Weber, has it with D. Brown and Mr. Augustine.
Gansey takes a buck, takes another, lost the ball.
Got
tripped by Hairbear. No call.
Oh, he got tripped in the backcourt. Oh, he got tripped in the backcourt. Take a look right here. The ball goes to the deck. There comes the trip. Down he goes, and no call. I mean, I think this is the Steelers, baby. Look at this.
Well, the Panthers have been accused of playing football, tough basketball every now and again. Right there, they were the victim of a trip and didn't get the call. Listen to the noise. You can't hear yourself thinking here right now.
Well, Pittsburgh got the calls in the Super Bowl.
Hairbear, the pull-up from 15.
Hairbear, good all-around player, can shoot the basketball, comes by the way of Germany.
Yep. You know, when he was going to Richmond originally, and then when John Beilein called him and said he was going to West Virginia, Hairbear didn't know where West Virginia was, didn't know what league they were in, but he decided to go where Coach Beilein was going.
Made a good choice, both for Mr. Beilein and for himself.
Pittsnoggle picks up the foul, his 4th. That's a big one. NBA action on ESPN continues tomorrow night with a doubleheader featuring San Antonio and New Jersey in Game 1, and then 2 red-hot teams, the Mavs and the Nuggets, coming up at 10:30 Eastern.
I'll tell you one thing, you know, college basketball, somebody asked me today, what do you like, college, NBA? College has such spirit, the passion is unbelievable enthusiasm, but the NBA has the greatest athletes in the world. I don't care what sport you talk about. When you put LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, they are the greatest athletes in the world.
We are told we're having some technical difficulties with our video right now. Bear with us. We are working to fix them as quickly as possible. 8 minutes into the second half. Pitt with the ball in a 6-point lead here in the backyard brawl. And Kevin Pittsnoggle scoreless and on the bench with 4 fouls for West Virginia.
And that's certainly the story why they're on the deficit side.
Ramon, his 3rd 3 of the game.
Ramon and Krauser play well in the backcourt. Now Fields out there with them. They got 3 guards that can rotate.
Here's Rob Summers, Pittsnoggle's replacement, only playing about 4 or 5 minutes a game.
He's a transfer out of Penn State. Good defense right now.
Shot clock down to 10.
Playing tough on the ball, giving a lot of help to one another. Bruce Weber's got to enjoy this in the studio.
Beeline missed the long 3, but the rebound back to the Mountaineers in a fresh 35. Ooh, dangerous pass.
Telegraphed it.
Beeline fortunate to get it back, and then he is fouled by Antonio Graves. What a struggle for West Virginia tonight, trailing by 9. Let's go to Dave Repson now for the Sports Center. Welcome back to the Peterson Event Center in Pittsburgh. Rivalry Week presented by Cisco Systems along with Dick Vitale. I'm Dan Schulman. 9-point lead for Pitt over West Virginia. They're in the first of 2 regular season meetings. What's at stake? West Virginia's unbeaten in the league. Right on top at 8-0. Pittsburgh has not lost at home at all this season. And there's the big story. Kevin Pittsnoggle, big-time performer for West Virginia, scoreless tonight.
Well, he's 0 for 12, 0 for 6 from the 3. He averages 19.5 a game, shoots 42% from the 3. I mean, it's pretty tough to win on the road when your star comes up empty.
Their other star, Gansey, has started heating up, but he's got a relatively quiet 6. West Virginia has got to find some offense somewhere. And now away from the ball, we have a foul call going against Levon Kendall of Pittsburgh.
You know, Gansey has had 9 games where he's had 20 or more points. He's only got 6 tonight. They shot poorly against Marshall when they were upset by the Thunder and Herd. And I'm sure John Calipari's a little nervous. He plays them this week, Marshall. I can hear him telling his team, they beat West Virginia, and West Virginia was undefeated in the Big East, or is undefeated.
You know, in the win over Marquette, both Pittsnoggle and Gansey had at least 30 points. Darius Nichols counted and a foul.
Nice drive by Nichols to get that deuce. They shot 18 for 52 against Marshall. As Nichols going to the goal with the left hand. Defense bumps him, goes to the foul line. Hey, I was asking you during the break, can you imagine you don't go to the Big East tournament, yet you get invited to the NIT, and you can win the NIT?
Could happen.
Yeah, Notre Dame's certainly capable.
If you have a 500 record overall, that's all you need to be eligible for the NIT.
Well, I think Louisville certainly is going to get in the tournament out in the Big East. I think they're going to find a way. You know what I like about the NIT? They got a nice committee now of guys up there like C.M. Newton, a Hall of Famer, who does a great job, was the guy responsible hiring Patino and Tubby Smith. Also Dean Smith. Does it get better than Dean? Now they added Don DeVoe, who will do a great job. Jack Powers. They got a nice group of guys that are going to sit there and make the selections, and I think that's terrific.
The NIT being taken over by the NCAA.
Jack Powers on there.
Yep.
There's that active zone. Trying to attack that baseline against that back guy, a 1.
Ramon's been the hot shooter tonight.
And it was created by the ball going to the baseline, kicking it back out, going inside, outside. Ramon's got a nice touch. Great stroke.
41% from 3 on the season, 4 for 6 from beyond the arc tonight.
Trying to get some separation, but remember last year they were down 12 in this game. Late, came back with 26-2 run to win it.
This is the largest lead of the night for the Panthers. Gansey, a contested 3 will go.
That was a tough 3. That's what stars do, and he's a star. He made the big 3. A 22-6 run last year was the factor that allowed West Virginia to go back with a win. And they swept them last year, beat them twice.
Beat him in overtime down in Morgantown, to beat him by 4 up here in Pittsburgh.
But made 24 threes in those 2 wins. Take a look at them attacking that zone right now. They're going to bring the ball down to the baseline. There he goes to the baseline. They're going to kick it back out, step up to the open seam, right at the top of the circle, created by the ball going down and the zone sliding to the basketball.
Gansey now has made at least 1 3 in every game this season. He is one of the leading three-point shooters in the nation at 48%. And if Pittsnoggle's going to be on the bench or ineffective tonight, Gansey might have to take over for the Mountaineers.
Well, they're going to get Pittsnogle back on the floor at about the 6-minute mark.
Scoreless and on the bench with 4 fouls. Beeline inside into the traffic, draws the foul. And again, the Mountaineers creeping back into this game.
They don't go away, man. They just keep coming at you, clawing and clawing.
4 on Kendall now, Dick.
What a terrific winner this guy's been everywhere he's been. Jim Boeheim recommended him for the Canisius job when he was at Lemoyne. Went to the NCAAs in '96 at Canisius. Got beat by Utah. Pat Forty's story. Had that all documented today on ESPN.com. Was at Richmond. Pulled one of the big upsets. A number 14 seed, and they beat South Carolina.
Right. I had an NBA scout tell me a few weeks ago he goes around and watches a lot of games, and the 2 coaches he's most impressed with who don't get a lot of attention are John Beeline and Bo Ryan. Those 2 guys really run some great stuff.
Well, Bo Ryan's so underrated, done a phenomenal job so far in the Big Ten. I gave a little roast they had me do tonight for Mr. Ryan. They're going to play at the festivity to honor him in April.
Bruce Weber sitting in our studio tonight knows a thing or two about going up against Bo Ryan and the Badgers. Look at his speed. Look at that.
What a great play. I tell you, he's a big-time athlete, but created by the penetration of Krauser.
Sam Young has 6 loud points here tonight.
Southern Sam, man. The Beeline Bombers are really running into a tough defensive perimeter game.
Yet they're only down 7, still with better than 8 minutes to go.
And it's amazing. You knock down a 3. So big. Can't get any open look stuff.
Well, tough D by Pittsburgh as always. Now nearly a turnover. Shot clock under 10.
That was all started with Ben Holland. He developed that sense of pride playing on the defensive side.
Frank Young misses a 3. Aaron Gray another rebound. You just can't get around him. He's so big.
Not getting really open looks.
No. They have no inside game to speak of, and Pittsburgh is really pushing out of the perimeter. And here comes Pittsnogle getting ready to check back in. They're going for it now.
After you're on the road, can't wait much longer.
They'll match up again on a big Monday in a few weeks down in Morgantown here on ESPN. Young a miss, Gansey the rebound.
Just love Gansey's talent. There's so many things. Rebound, pass, can shoot. And we have not seen the real, genuine superstar tonight.
Both he and Pittsnogle being talked about now as potential first-round picks.
Well, I think there's no doubt that Gansey will be one, and certainly Pittsnogle will get an opportunity.
And Gansey, again with that high basketball IQ, nice drive, and he will go to the line when we come back.
Well, you know, Pittsburgh did a great job. There's Mr. Krauser. He dumps it off, and up and away. Mr. Young, Jam City.
Presentation of college basketball is presented by Cisco, changing the way people work, live, play, and learn. Innovation powered by Cisco.
Welcome back to the Peterson Event Center here in Pittsburgh. Dan Shulman and Dick Vitale with you. Here's the story for West Virginia, shooting 27%, only 5 for 23 from three-point range, getting out-rebounded by a dozen. Kevin Pittsnogle hasn't scored, yet amazingly, they're only down 7. The Zoo might be a little bit nervous right now. Pittsnogle has just checked back into the game. Pittsburgh turning it over a lot. Ronald Ramon showing that he's on the brink of stardom the way that he's playing.
Well, you know, he's got the big 16. 21's his career high against Rutgers last year. You know, West Virginia undefeated is one of, right now, you think about Duke, Memphis, George Washington, Penn, Gonzaga, and Bucknell. 7 teams are undefeated in conference play.
That's our game track presented by Cisco Systems. Gansey at the line for West Virginia. Makes the second 6-point game.
Pittsburgh's got 15 baskets. They got 13 assists. So they're sharing the basketball, moving it against that zone.
And again in the 1-3-1, Beeline coming out to help Gansey up top. This is how they force all these turnovers. Very active in the passing lanes. Fields. Krauser can't get a shot off. Baseline Young, feed Gray.
Oh, he's got to dunk that.
And he got it back and finished.
Great second effort by Gray to get it back. And now he gets a 3-point attempt. Should have had the first one with a jam. Doing a great job overloading inside. really did a great job spreading it out. See right now, go to the clock, move down to the baseline, and then dump it off to the big guy right down the gut.
Dickie V, the other big guy, Kevin Pittsnoggle, just fouled out of the game.
Wow, this is a nightmarish night for Mr. Pittsnoggle. 0 for 12, fouled out.
Pittsburgh recruited him. He thought about Pitt before he went to West Virginia. They'd have loved him if he'd have come here, but when he went to Morgantown, they are all over him right now.
Well, they love him tonight. They loved the way before him tonight.
What a rough night for the new Papa.
He's too good. He's too good a player. He will bounce back. He's got to set this one aside mentally. Forget about it. Psychologically, can't let it eat you up. A lot of great players have had bad nights.
Yeah. Well, can West Virginia mount a comeback without Pittsnoggle? Even though he's been a non-contributor offensively tonight, has turned the ball over. Can they somehow muster up some offense without him tonight? Air ball by Gray.
You know, they were up 15 on Georgetown. They let that game slip away from them, Pittsburgh.
That was on the weekend. Pittsburgh's lost 2 in a row. At UConn by 4. At Georgetown by 3. This is their 3rd consecutive ranked opponent.
Hey, you quickly can really develop a losing streak in this conference. A couple of weeks, you can put 4 in a row in the L column.
Air Bear down in the post. The cut
nice
by
cut.
Gansey again.
That's what Gansey does so well. He plays really without the ball exceptionally well.
And they find each other. Pittsburgh is second in the Big East in assists. West Virginia's first. Fields.
Oh, he got tricked.
Yeah, Hair Bear is called for the foul. Last year, in the 2 games between Pitt and West Virginia, in each game, Pittsburgh had a sizable lead in the second half, and each time West Virginia came back to it.
Well, the clock is starting to come down right now, but they're certainly right in this basketball game. And have not had their stars perform, have not shot the ball well. That's also a tribute to the coaching staff. Also a tribute to their defense, forcing a lot of turnovers.
That foul on Hair Bear, the 15th foul committed by West Virginia here in the second half. Pittsburgh's already.
And they don't foul.
No.
They don't foul. That's another great asset they have. They don't get you out of foul. Well, he's tough inside. They cannot handle him inside. He's big. He's getting to the open seam against the 1-3-1. When the guy slides out deep, he is overloaded down in that low box, and he's wide open.
14 now for Aaron Gray. And it's an 8-point lead for the Panthers. Nichols steps into a 3, leaves it short. Fields on the run.
Good job defensively in transition, West Virginia. Another strength. When you have a strength, you don't turn the ball over, usually make threes, you really play so well together and share the ball, you got a chance to win.
Krauser, a wild shot.
Miss Beeline. Beeline was wide open for a 3.
Nichols forcing it, and they're going to count that basket.
Wow.
Jamie Dixon cannot believe
I don't believe it either.
Basket.
He got fouled way before. It's not the NBA with the continuation. I mean, he got fouled way before.
Counted for Nichols, and the foul goes on Gray. That'll be his 3rd. That is a big call in favor of the Mountaineers.
And that really was a bad call right there, no doubt about it. That foul took place prior to him releasing the basketball.
Nichols to the line looking for the 3-point play, and once again going to get West Virginia back within 5.
Well, all these Pittsburgh people are upset. They weren't upset in the Super Bowl when those calls went their way.
That's right.
Oh, you know, I got to balance out.
Yeah. Missed free throw by Nichols. 6-point lead, just over 5 minutes to go.
Come down the stretch now. You got to make free throws count.
And a timeout called by Jamie Dixon. Don't forget that Saturday ESPN has a full afternoon of great college basketball games. It begins in Bloomington, Indiana at noon Eastern. Rivalry week presented by Cisco Systems. The Hoosiers and the Hawkeyes at noon. And then at 2 Eastern, the number 4 ranked team in the country, Villanova, fresh off a City Series win over St. Joe's, traveling to Chicago to take on DePaul. And then tonight the game you'll be out in Spokane. Number 5 Gonzaga, led by Adam Morrison, taking on the Cardinal of Stanford.
Well, we all can't wait to get out there. I know our guys do a terrific job. Reese Davis does a great job as the point guard. Digger and Jay Billis are the scorers. Morrison and Reddick. What a showdown. Look at these 2 guys. You know what? I think it would be sad if they both weren't Cole Players of the Year. That's the kind of years they're having. I mean, it's so unbelievable what they've done. Reddick's been absolutely sensational, but so has Morrison. I can't wait to see him down at Kettle 2. That place is going to be rocking. Andy Katz will be there. Aaron Andrews, Brad Nessler.
Another Pittsburgh turnover, Dick. They're letting
the
West
three,
Virginia
wide open. Oh, he finally had a wide open look.
Patrick Beilein missed as good a look as he's had tonight. That would have cut it down to 3. And Beilein talking to the ref saying Krauser fouled him.
Transition game, ran right to the open three-point line.
Now Beilein giving Krauser a little shot away from the ball. No call, and now Krauser's asking for a foul.
Oakland Zoo, they want that. This crowd is really alive, man. They really get into it.
Krauser, nice feet down low, and Young's going to the line.
They are really hurting that zone in the low box on both sides. They're really doing a great job bringing the ball in there. Jimmy Burr said, come on now, Carl. Let's just play hoops. Let's just play hoops.
It's getting physical. It's getting chippy. They didn't make up that name backyard brawl. They've had 100 years of going at one another.
Communication's important, to having a team communicate with each other. It's also important for the officials, and that's what I like what Jimmy Burr's doing. He's communicating out there. He had the North Carolina Duke game as well.
Young at the line, a 6'6" freshman out of Clinton, Maryland. Perhaps the biggest prize in this talented freshman class for Pittsburgh. This is the first as we check out some of the physical play. Watch Beilein.
Oh, look at this right here. Oh, yeah, get a little physical right there. He thought he got away with one, and he did.
Look at all the referees in the first row to our left trying to help out the officials.
And they were right.
Young makes 1 of 2. All 7 of his points coming in the second half. Gray will sit down now for Pittsburgh.
Sit out for a minute, get a little rest, bring Kendall in, go a little smaller. But Young's a great jumper.
For those who may just be tuning in, and you were just going to say it, Pitt was fouled out of this game.
He's fouled out of the game, was 0 for 12.
Did not score a point. Hair Bear, left-handed layup, 5-point game, timeout Mountaineers.
What a terrific drive by Hair Bear. He's just the winner. He's a coach's dream, a kid that does all the little things, passes really well. He's been Mr. Consistency, 117 consecutive starts.
And a 4.0 student as well.
Yeah, never got a B.
Political sign, never got a B in his life.
Wow, never got a B. Wow. He's got a 4.0, just like I did. 1.0 as a freshman, 1.0 as a sophomore.
Coach Beilein told us the amazing thing is he plays a month every year for the German national team, so he misses a month of school, and he's still never gotten a B.
I'll tell you, thinking of Mountaineers, I think of Jerry West, one of the greatest players of all time. I will never forget. Here's a great story. Rod Hundley told a story at a banquet. He said when he was a senior and Mr. West was a freshman, he sent one of his cronies to go get that freshman. He brought him up to his room, and he looked at him and he says, son, I want you to know something. See that building you're going to play in? That's paid for half by me, my friend, by the job I've done here. So don't forget it. Well, a few years later, Jerry West is in a layup line along with the Lakers, and Mr. Hundley's in the line. He tapped him on the shoulder. He says, Hot Rod, remember that building? It was half paid by you. Well, they paid for that one, and they paid for another one after I left.
You know what? He was right. He was right.
Jerry was special.
One of the greats of all time. West Virginia's got a great legacy of basketball. How about some great NBA action coming up tomorrow night? First on ESPN HD at 7:30 Eastern. Tim Duncan and the Spurs taking on Vince Carter with the Nets, and then the late game, it's Dirk Nowitzki and the red-hot Mavs against Carmelo Anthony and the Nuggets. A great doubleheader of NBA action tomorrow right here on ESPN. Devin Pittsnoggle, not his night. Scoreless tonight, fouled out. Can West Virginia somehow mount a comeback without him?
Well, their low total so far this year was against the Thunder and Herd. They put 52 on the board against them.
Second year in a row, Marshall defeated West Virginia.
John Calipari better watch out. He's got a date with them this weekend.
West Virginia's won 15 of 16 coming into this game. They only lost to Marshall. Jump hook by Gray.
Well, as he improved. He was a bit player. He's no longer a bit player. He's a double-double guy. Aaron Gray is his name. And I love to see those kids that listen to coaches and get better and better and better.
Having to defend Frank Young, the pull-up jumper, not there for Young, and the rebound for Sam Young of Pittsburgh.
Beeline Bombers having a tough time shooting the three. This is a physical, tough Pittsburgh team. I don't think many people would have thought they'd be sitting at 17-3 at this moment.
No, they were certainly picked to finish lower in the Big East, as was West Virginia. Yeah, Pittsburgh was picked to finish 7th. Nice cut by Ramon. And Gansey almost knocked it into his own basket before it bounced out to him.
Should have used his left hand going to that side of the floor.
Young, the air ball on the three, and a timeout called by Hair Bear.
That situation right there, Ramon should have used the left hand coming down that lane. Going away, trying to use the right. Very tough.
Dick, if Pittsburgh wins this game, then West Virginia suffers its first loss in the conference. No Big East team has ever run the table and been perfect in a Big East play. The Mountaineers are 8-0 right now. Well, these teams, as we've mentioned, have been playing for 100 years. They've met now 169 times. This is back in 1999. Jared Kearse at the line, ties it with a free throw for West Virginia. Down at the other end, Ricardo Greer with the buzzer beater. Hits 69, West Virginia 67.
Wow.
Ralph Willard, now the coach of Holy Cross, and at the old Fitzgerald Fieldhouse, the prior home of the Pitt Panthers. Amazingly, again, this is the first time the two teams have met when they've been ranked. Last year, Pitt had leads in both and gave it up in both, and West Virginia won both games. Could the Mountaineers do it again?
It's hard to believe it's the first time that both clubs have been ranked. Amazing all those years.
They've just been good at different times. Hair Bear spins, lays it up and in.
That's a terrific move. What a spin move in the lane. Attacking the basket, going a little full court pressure. Coming out of the zone.
They're only down 5, 2.5 to go. Kendall has returned now for Pittsburgh. Gray's gone to the bench.
Trying to play a little man-to-man right now. Came out of that 1-3-1 zone.
Timeout taken by Jamie Dixon. He wants to get Gray right back into the game. Gray was really asserting himself, especially since Pittsnoggle fouled out.
You know, it's hard to believe with the three-point shot, the shot clock, teams are scoring in the 40s here. I mean, this is old-fashioned basketball back years ago in terms of when you see teams not able to score. Defenses have gotten so much more sophisticated.
Yep.
The scouting, the analysis.
And what's at stake here, it is tightly bunched at the top of the Big East. West Virginia is the leader right now in the Big East. Connecticut and Villanova, who will meet Monday here on ESPN, a half game back. Georgetown playing as well as anybody. And then Pittsburgh and Seton Hall tied for 5th.
Well, you know, I just think Louis Orr's done a phenomenal job. He took so much heat, so many articles about potential guys that are going to come after that job, and I thought it was so unfair. Let the guy at least coach and finish the year. And all he's done is rolled up his sleeves and done a great job.
Boy, sure looks strange to see teams like Syracuse, Louisville, and Notre Dame in the bottom half of the league standings, but that's how tough and deep the Big East is this year.
Well, you know, Providence has won 4 of their last 6.
Young got fouled. Timeout on the floor. Sam Young will be going to the line when we come back. The backyard brawl heads into the stretch drive. Can the Panthers hang on for another home court win over their arch rivals from Morgantown?
What are they on?
Georgetown playing some great basketball. 8-2 now in the Big East. Virginia's 8-0, but they're in trouble. Down 5. 2:17 to go here in Pittsburgh. Sam Young at the line, 71% free throw shooter on the season.
You know, despite 19 turnovers, that's what's kept also West Virginia in the game, despite shooting 5 for 26 from the 3. Remember this, their last 3 games, they made 33 threes. Tonight, they've made 5.
In 26 attempts. They make better than 10 threes per game, but they're just 5 for 26 tonight.
This is a crucial possession right here. This is the most important possession right now for West Virginia. They're going to put points on the board here.
Hair Bear, a deep 2 will go, and it's down to 5.
He's made some good plays late in the game. Should have been more, a little bit aware of where that three-point line was.
Under 2 minutes to go. Levance Fields, the freshman, out there along with Ramon and Krauser, 3 ball handlers.
He's going to get down and making some free throws, protecting the basketball, taking some time off the clock. Clock management so vital at the end of the game. That's why they got the 3 guards on the floor, 3 good handlers, spread the court, don't allow them to double up, get good spacing, 15, 17 apart.
Ramon, shot clock at 5. Kendall from 17. Rebound West Virginia, 1:25 to go.
They need a big 3, would give them such life. They are really attacking the perimeter shooters. They're not giving you any look whatsoever, Pittsburgh.
Frank Young on the penetration, lays it into the left-hand three-point game.
And that's created because of the extension of the defense, that now you've got to put it to the deck and you've got to attack the basket off the floor.
Into the final minute, and a timeout taken by Jamie Dixon with 59 seconds to go, and Pitt's lead dwindling down to 3.
John Beilein just totally amazes me how he keeps his club in the game, shooting so poorly. A lot of clubs would have rolled over.
Rivalry Week presented by Cisco Systems, coming to you from the sold-out Peterson Event Center here on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh. Dan Schulman and Dick Vitale with you. The backyard brawl, the 169th meeting all-time between West Virginia and Pittsburgh. Sports Center is coming up next year on ESPN. Pittsnoggles fouled out. Gansey can't get open, so Joe Hairbear is starting to take over.
Hairbear has made some great plays. There's the drive. Good fake that created the driving opportunity. There he is, taking the ball up strong to the basket, and then he shoots the jump shot a half a foot inside that line.
Now they need to stop. 59.2 in the game, 29 on the shot clock. Pittsburgh basketball. Gray has returned for the Panthers.
They got a tough date their next game when you talk West Virginia after this one. Georgetown.
That's right, going to Georgetown and then to Seton Hall Sunday, Tuesday.
Yep. Two hot teams. One won 7, has 7 in a row. Another one has 6 in a row. Georgetown won their 7 tonight.
Beat St. John's handily.
They're spinning the clock. Taking some time off that clock.
It'll be Krauser.
That's a big-time move. That's a big-time move. Took some time off the clock, put points on the board. Now you don't want to foul. You don't want to stop the clock.
Krauser is a great end-of-game player, not afraid to make plays. Hairbear for 3.
Got a charge.
Yeah.
Illegal screen.
Yeah, forget the shot. It was Frank Young after he released the pass, called for the offensive foul.
Tried to set a screen, and there he is, gets nailed by Jim Burr. On the offensive side, spread the court, little one-on-one, beat you off the dribble, shake and bake like he did in the playground as a kid in New York City. The bench loves it. They jump with joy.
So Pittsburgh has the ball back, and now West Virginia's got a foul. Krauser's going to go to the line.
West Virginia's low this year is 52, and that wasn't a loss to Marshall. Right now they're at 48.
Pittsburgh with a win here, but to go to 7-3 in a Big East play. They're home to Cincinnati, then a little road trip to Providence and Marquette. And again, the rematch, a big Monday rematch down in Morgantown in a few weeks.
Well, you know, it's getting really jeopardy time for Cincinnati. They're right now sitting in a situation, 14 consecutive years to the NCAA. They got a win over Louisville, but they've been struggling a little bit.
Again, the official, Doug Shows, goes over and talks to Patrick Beilein, as again, Beilein and Krauser getting involved with one another after Krauser's free throw.
Krauser can get the last laugh. Just make them count.
And he does.
Really good at the end of the game, as you said, Dan.
Terrific in the last couple of minutes. All of his points tonight in the second half.
A lot of guys like to get away from the ball late. He wants it.
Collins inside, swatted away by Kendall, but a foul call, I believe, is going to go against Krauser. And it will.
Yes, you don't want to stop the clock. You're in command right now. You don't want to stop the clock. There's the block. Contact prior to that.
Krauser called for the foul with the body. Collins looked like he hurt his ankle a little bit, grimacing, but he'll go to the line for 2.
These are must. You got to make these count.
The Oakland Zoo really stepping it up a notch, smelling the victory right now.
Tough to win when your star sitting on the sideline goes 0 for 12, averaging 19.5 a game. Mr. Pittsnogle had a disastrous game today. He's going to bounce back against Georgetown. He's too good.
5-point game, 20 seconds to go.
Another full court trap here. Try to immediately get the steal. If you don't, you got to put him on a foul line. It's been said so many times over the years. At the end of the game, yes, sir, there it is. Go to the line.
And it'll be Krauser going to the line again. Yep. Doesn't put him off at all. Look at the remaining schedule for West Virginia. They've got a lot of road games. They go to Syracuse. They go to Georgetown. They got a tough schedule.
Every game is such a battle. There's no cupcake. Give me a cupcake there. Where's the cupcake? Show me a cupcake. There aren't any cupcakes. There's no Hostess cupcakes. I'll get a few tonight when I fly on a plane. But Howie Schwab will beat me tomorrow.
Sports Center coming up next with Neil Everett and Scott Van Pelt as soon as this one is over. And Krauser trying to nail it down right here.
Scott's jumping with joy. The Maryland woman beat North Carolina. His Terps won the other day. Gary Williams, we salute him. He's now the all-time winner at Maryland. You talk about a guy, his heart, his soul, his spirit into every game.
1 of 2 for Krauser. The X signal for his pals back in the Bronx. 6-point lead.
Got to take care of the guys in New York.
The tip isn't good. Sam Young comes down with a rebound.
And get out of here with the W, baby. Pittsburgh's going to celebrate end the 2-game stride against West Virginia last year. The Oakland Zoo is celebrating. It's been great times in the city of Pittsburgh, a beautiful city.
Been a big week here in the Steel Town.
They stole my line. It's awesome, baby. They stole it.
Hey, you autographed it.
I autographed it?
It's your signature on it, unless somebody's forging it.
That's mine.
Pittsburgh will avenge a couple of defeats to West Virginia from last year, and don't miss the rematch big Monday, February 27th down in Morgantown.
18-3. You know, win streaks at home have been snapped recently. Please don't hear this, Bruce. Please don't hear it, Bruce Weber. We had Illinois 33 go down against Penn State. Southern Illinois went down to 33. New Mexico went down to 21. And the Gators went down. Trey Kelly and company and Dave Odom got a big win. South Carolina beat them twice this year.
But this will extend Pittsburgh's home court winning streak to 14, even with that 3 by Beeline under a second to go. 4-point lead. This baby's over.
Well, we go down now. We go to the Kennel out there in Spokane. 35 in a row. Mr. Morrison. Oh, it's going to be a beautiful night. Orange game.
And that's a part of continuing coverage of Rivalry Week presented by Cisco Systems. Major game of the Big Ten coming up at noon Eastern on Saturday. Iowa and Bloomington to take on a struggling Indiana team. Villanova's at DePaul at 2 Eastern. And then the game that Dick was talking about out in Spokane at the new Kennel, 9 o'clock Eastern, Saturday night. Matt Harrius and Stanford take it on Adam Morrison, and the Zags should be a great one Saturday night.
Can't wait to see Adam Morrison down here. Place to be rocking and rolling. Mr. Pittsnagel, not a happy guy, but certainly he will bounce back. He's had a terrific year, averaging 19 points a game.
Inbounded by Kendall to Ramon, and it's all over. Pittsburgh defeats West Virginia 57-53, handing the Mountaineers their first loss in conference play this year. Pitt's home court winning streak is now 14. Coming up next here on ESPN, Neil Everett, Scott Van Pelt have Sports Center for you. Turn over to ESPN News for post-game extra. They'll meet again in a few weeks down into Morgantown. Another edition of the Backyard Brawl. This one goes to Carl Krauser and the Panthers. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Sports Center is next.